Most people believe that modern air combat is all about stealth aircraft like the F-35, and that anything visible on radar is outdated and ineffective. But that assumption is completely wrong, because right now, the United States is actively building and deploying a fighter jet that is not stealth at all, and it can be detected from long distances. Yet it is considered one of the most important aircraft in modern air warfare. So the real question is not why stealth exists. The real question is why a non-stealth aircraft like the Boeing F-15EX Eagle II still exists in a world dominated by stealth technology. And the answer reveals something much bigger about how modern combat actually works. Before we go deeper, if you are interested in real explanations of aviation technology, stealth systems, and radar physics explained in a simple way, subscribe to VectorTechExplained. Because here we break down complex military systems into clear and understandable ideas without hype. Now let's continue. The idea that every modern fighter must be invisible comes from a simplified understanding of stealth technology. Stealth is often presented as a magical solution, something that makes aircraft disappear from the battlefield. But in reality, stealth is not invisibility, it is a trade-off. And like any trade-off, it solves some problems while creating others. Stealth aircraft like the Lockheed Martin F-35 Lightning II are designed to reduce their radar signature, which means they can delay detection and operate closer to enemy defenses before being tracked. But this comes at a cost, and that cost is not just financial, it is also physical. Stealth aircraft must carry their weapons internally to avoid increasing their radar signature, which limits how many missiles they can carry at one time. And this is where the entire logic of modern air combat starts to shift, because being hard to detect is powerful, but only if you can actually engage the target effectively once you find it. And that is where the F-15EX enters the picture. At first glance, the F-15EX makes no sense. It is large, it is not stealthy, and it reflects radar energy much more than modern stealth fighters. So why build it? The answer is because modern air combat is no longer about a single aircraft doing everything. It is about systems working together, and each platform is optimized for a specific role. The F-15EX is designed to be carrier. It can carry an enormous amount of firepower, far more than stealth aircraft can carry. It can be equipped with a massive number of air-to-air missiles, turning it into what is often called a missile truck. And this changes everything, because in a networked battlefield, the aircraft that detects the target does not always need to be the one that engages it. Imagine a scenario where a stealth aircraft like the F-35 moves closer to contested airspace, using its low observable design to avoid early detection. It identifies targets using advanced sensors and shares that information across a network. Then, a platform like the F-15EX, operating at a safer distance, uses that data to launch weapons. This means the F-15EX does not need to be invisible. It needs to be connected and heavily armed. This is a completely different way of thinking about air combat. But this raises another important question. If the F-15EX can be detected, how does it survive in an environment filled with modern radar systems? The answer lies in electronic warfare. Instead of relying on physical invisibility, the F-15EX uses advanced electronic systems to disrupt, confuse, and degrade enemy sensors. This includes techniques such as jamming, deception, and signal manipulation. Rather than avoiding detection entirely, the goal becomes managing detection, controlling how the aircraft appears to enemy systems, and reducing the probability of successful targeting. This is sometimes described as a form of digital stealth, not because the aircraft is invisible, but because it actively interferes with the enemy's ability to understand what they are seeing. This is fundamentally different from traditional stealth design, which focuses on shaping and materials to reduce reflections. Electronic warfare operates in real time, adapting to the environment and changing the way signals behave. This creates a dynamic interaction between detection and counter-detection. And this is where modern air combat becomes far more complex than a simple stealth versus radar comparison. Because now we are dealing with layered systems interacting with each other in real time. Radar systems are becoming more advanced, using multiple frequencies, networked sensors, and data fusion techniques to detect even low observable targets. At the same time, aircraft systems are becoming more advanced in how they manage their signatures, both physically and electronically. And this creates a continuous cycle of adaptation, where no single technology guarantees dominance. The F-15EX fits into this environment not as a replacement for stealth, but as a complement to it. It provides something stealth aircraft cannot provide at scale, which is sustained firepower and flexibility. While stealth platforms focus on penetrating contested environments and gathering information, the F-15EX focuses on delivering large amounts of weapons from positions where it can still operate effectively. This division of roles is critical because modern conflicts are not solved by a single aircraft type. They are solved by integrated systems working together. And this is the key idea that most people miss when they think about stealth. They assume that invisibility is the ultimate goal, when in reality, the goal is information advantage and timing. Stealth helps achieve that by delaying detection, but it does not replace the need for firepower or support platforms. And this is why aircraft like the F-15EX continue to exist. They fill a gap that stealth alone cannot fill. And this becomes even more important when you consider the scale of modern operations. Stealth aircraft are extremely advanced, but also extremely complex and expensive, which limits how many can be deployed at once. The F-15EX provides a way to expand capability without relying entirely on stealth platforms, allowing for a more balanced and flexible force structure. And this brings us back to the original question: why does the F-15EX exist in the age of stealth? The answer is simple. Because modern air combat is not about choosing between stealth and non-stealth. It is about combining different capabilities into a cohesive system. Stealth aircraft provide access and survivability in contested environments, while non-stealth platforms provide volume, endurance, and firepower. Together, they create a more effective force than either could achieve alone. And this completely changes how we should think about future air combat. It is not a competition between invisible aircraft and visible aircraft. It is a competition between integrated systems and isolated platforms. The side that can connect sensors, shooters, and decision-making processes more effectively will have the advantage. And in that context, the F-15EX is not outdated. It is optimized for a different role within a larger system. It does not need to be invisible because it is not operating alone. It is part of a network, and that network is what provides the real advantage. So the next time you hear someone say that stealth has made non-stealth aircraft obsolete, remember this: modern warfare is not about a single technology dominating everything. It is about how different technologies work together to create an advantage. Stealth is powerful, but it is not enough on its own. And aircraft like the F-15EX prove that sometimes being visible does not mean being vulnerable. It means being positioned differently within the system. If you want more deep explanations like this, where we break down how modern aviation and military technology actually works, subscribe to VectorTechExplained. And tell me in the comments, what matters more in the future of air combat? Staying invisible or carrying more firepower?